Hello, good afternoon. It's Friday, it's 12 o'clock, and I'm here on Career Talk. Delighted that you can join us today, Nerys. Nerys, you are an enthusiast of the industry, and I am so pleased that you could join us today. Good
Just happy
afternoon.
to be here. Good afternoon, Lee. Yeah, it's great to be here. Yeah,
Now,
inherent passion is what the Welsh are known for, but hopefully it's underpinned by a bit of knowledge and understanding as well.
well, absolutely. And oh my goodness, how much knowledge and understanding have you got? And we're going to explore that. But before we do, now there's something that you're doing at the moment with Martin Teasdale. And I just want to quickly talk to you about it. I've got a blue wall, I've got my yellow necklace on, and it's all about your support for Ukraine. Tell us what are you doing and where are we at?
So where we're at is on the Sunday, like a month ago now, when it all started, I messaged Martin on WhatsApp and said, we need to do something. What can we do? Can we think about, like, I was thinking offering time and being an agent, or offering free consultancy to anyone that needs to spin up a contact center super quick. But Martin, being the wonderful guy he is, and us talking it through, he, through the European contact center judging, he reached out to Irina, who runs the Contact Center Association out in Kyiv, in Ukraine. And her and I have spent time together judging when it was all face to face. And,
Yeah.
we had those beautiful facilities in the office in London. So knowing that she had agents out there, and basically Martin just was amazing, as he is. And they say, if you've ever got anything that you need doing, give it to a busy person, and he is evidence of that. So he just ran with it, set up a collection pot super quick, got it all mobilized, and then we've just been trying to raise as many funds for Irina and her contact center agents as possible. And they are out in Ukraine doing different humanitarian efforts, inbound and outbound calls, because of course that environment is really good for outsourcing. They wanted to be a competitor for nearshoring like Poland, because they've got a lot of international students, so great breadth of language, and a really great resource for nearshoring. So I think Arena has had the association for, it's years, isn't it? Years and years she's had that association. Anyway, so where we're at is yesterday we managed to, she wanted us to redeem the fund and send it to her so she could apportion it out across the agents. And that was 9,000 in euros. So I think it's 78 people have donated, which is incredible. The pot, which is, you'll find the details on Martin or mine LinkedIn profiles, is still open, and we'll keep it open until the end of the month. And then we're going to take a breath and think about what it could look like strategically across the industry, supporting Irina in the immediacy, and then potentially just, a much broader contact center charity fund to support agents who, for whatever reason, find themselves in similar situations. So that's where we're at.
No, thank you, Nerys. And I've been in touch with Arena too, and it's so scary what they're going through. She was in Kyiv until 2 days ago. She said she was 10 kilometers outside Kyiv. It was -10, shelling overhead. It was just horrendous. And she and family and friends escaped Kyiv. I think it was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And she shared with me yesterday the room that she was staying in, and it was a room with 12 people in it, including children, her elderly mother, children, cats, dogs, and it's just horrendous. But I think she's planning on finding somewhere a little bit more comfortable. But it's really hard for them out there, really hard.
It's unimaginable, and you know, I think that we've sort of taken her to our hearts, and she's obviously been on Martin's Get Out of Rap podcast, showing videos. And in the message she sent me last night, she said, "Thanks a lot for all our donators and people who are trying to help us. I am really happy." She's such a she's amazing.
Well,
So that's where we're at. So the pot remains open. So if you'd like to donate, the collection pot is still open, and we'll do another redemption when it closes at the end of the month and send that over to her. Yeah, I had a great experience with the Barclays advisor yesterday, who was very empathic about the the need to get the money across as quickly as possible. Yeah.
So. Well, thank you, Nerys, and thank you, Martin, for everything you're doing to support her, and all of our customer contact centre colleagues out there. It's so important. But Nerys, you just touched on there that you had a brilliant experience with Barclays, and you are, as I said right at the top of this conversation, you are one of the most enthusiastic people I know in this industry. So. So I want to start with finding out what you do today, but actually, no, I want to start from the beginning. Where did you start in contact centres, and did you always work in contact centres?
Well, I did used to sell copier paper in the West End for about 4 months, and that was really hard on my feet. So I stopped doing that. That was really tough. When I left university, so when I left uni, I just wanted to be a salesperson. That's all I wanted to be. My dad was a salesperson, wanted to be a salesperson. And then, started selling copier paper. I was like, this is rubbish for me. So I then looked at other opportunities, and I ended up in an outsourcer, 24/7 outsourcer in Bromley called Ready Call. And it was about 60 seats, 60 contact centre agent seats. And because it was in Bromley South, it was filled with loads of really amazing characters. So I was selling outsourced contact centre services. And the very first deal I won was for the World Society for the Protection of Animals, for taking their adopt an orangutan calls. So the process was that I threw it over to the wall to the operations team to deliver it. And I was like, oh no, I can't let this go. Sorry, buy sales, high operations, because I wanted to stay involved. So did all the training, cried a lot, and then picked up lots of other real charity focused, actually, clients, and worked with those. And I did that for a couple of years. And then that's when I just fell in love with contact centers. And I loved sitting with the agents. I loved listening to calls. I loved everything about it. I loved how, in outsourcing, you're a brand ambassador. So you sit with that brand and try and understand it and be front and center. And it gets you're end to end in their vision. So you work with their marketing teams, and it's really, it's an incredibly rich world, just very people focused. So that's how it all started, in an outsourced contact center in Bromley.
Wow. And so take us through those steps in your career. So you started in a contact center, but that's in an outsourcer, but you've done a few other things along the way.
Yeah, well, I sort of stayed in outsourcing for 17 years, and within outsourcing, of course, and across different outsourcers, really very different outsourcers over my time. But you are responsible for delivering to those customers' needs. So I've managed, I managed Vodafone for 12 years, National Apprenticeship Service, Tenor, Lady Pants, Procter and Gamble, British Gas, Volkswagen, ING, like innumerable different services for different clients. And the relationship is very much, these are the SLA, or was, I should say, these are the SLAs you need to deliver to maintain the contractual terms of this relationship. And so,
has it always been sales, or always been service, or have you done a real mix of both?
Oh yeah, totally. I have done a real mix. I'd say probably more inbound,
Yeah.
inbound customer service. So Volkswagen was inbound customer service. Yeah. Oh yeah, mainly but I have done big outbound campaigns as well. Done some just social media, some just email around Sky, um, customer service, yeah, for the Times, and the Sunday Times. So yeah, a real mix, but mainly inbound.
And so what are you doing now? So if you've had all of this fantastic experience, doing all sorts of things and having all sorts of brilliant brands, what is it that you do right now?
So now I ended up, so I ended up becoming a consultant. I always wanted to be a consultant, right from really early on. A consultant came into one of the contact centers that I worked in. I thought, that's a cool job because it's so varied and you keep to stay in the industry you love. So right now I work with system integrators and channel reseller partners and vendors in the tech space of contact centers, making sure that the needs of the operation are front and center and articulated effectively in any buying decision that those customers might be making. So I go out and audit their contact centers, and when they're looking to invest or looking to upgrade or looking to divest and get rid of some stuff, I sort of help them on that journey.
Oh, that's fascinating. So you're listening to what advisors are saying all the time.
All the time. Yeah, it's great. It's great.
As
I
in,
get
tell us what they're saying right now. What is it? What's the key things that are coming out? And this isn't necessarily about insight,
so,
but do
yeah.
tell us.
So I audit a real wide variety of contact centres. So I've been lucky enough to be in Harrods Contact Centre and audit that. And I've also, done a lot of blue light, housing association, local council, government, and then very much private sector, a whole range. And it's really fascinating because technology is infiltrating contact centres like it never has before, I think. And certainly buying a whole new platform is like a New Year's Eve for contact centers with like, right now, this is what we're going to do. We're going to definitely drink 3 liters of water a day. It's that point at which you go, right, we're investing now. What else needs to change in terms of our customer and operational experience? So, but coming back to your question, talking to advisors, they say fascinating things like, I say, oh, so what do you think about the bots coming and taking all the easy stuff, which is a mantra that everybody's talking about. And they're like, quite like the easy stuff, quite like a bit of mix of easy stuff, really. And I just think, yeah, have we got to a situation where we used to get an advisor and say, right, drive from A to B on a route that you know pretty well, like to your local supermarket. And along the way, you might have some challenges. But by and large, it's a route that you know, and it's transactions that you will be able to handle. And now we're saying, oh, can you just sit in this taxi in the middle of London and just deal with all this really hard stuff? And have we got the framework around them to support that real shift? And so I find it interesting, the paradox between a lot of the messages that are being played out, oh, we're just giving them complex tasks, and then advisors going, I quite like some of the easy stuff, the stuff that doesn't put a real demand on my brain. So
I guess that's the same for everybody, isn't it? It's nice to have the challenge, but it's also really nice to have the stuff that you find easy. What do you find challenging, and what do you find easy?
oh God, what do I find challenging? I think I sort of like being out of my comfort zone. So I things like this. I find it, oh God, there's loads, Lee. I sort of end up now, because of COVID has opened the door to working with lots of global opportunities through working with Atos as well. You're like, oh my God, this person wants this piece of consultancy. And that's, it's not just all on me, but big part of it. And So I find it really challenging to compartmentalize the thinking and make sure it's completely aligned to what the customer wants, and not be like, yeah, influenced by anything else that might be going on or anyone else's objectives. I'm just like, what's right for the customer? Where's the customer sitting? Where do they want to go? What does the operation need? And what do I find easy? Talking to agents, talking to team leaders, talking to quality managers. Let me do that all day, every day. I'm happy.
Oh, bless you. And you're very I'm going to say you're very out there. It feels to me that you're working a lot. How are you managing that work-life balance?
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing, really. So I started because outsourcing is relentless, and I had gone through 3 rounds of IVF to get my little boy, and I thought, wow, this is an awful lot of effort, and I don't seem to be seeing him very much. So I've always wanted to be a consultant. The time came, and I thought, right, now let's move from outsourcing, and let's do this because I think I'll be good at it, and let's do this because it affords me more time and effort with Johan. Now, like your two, he's now at the age where he don't want to see me and he don't care about me anymore. So that means I can put lots of efforts and energies into now my career again and really step change that. But how it's happened that I've become, a voice in the industry, I don't know, but I'm not gonna say no to it, because I think I've always got, the agents front and center. So
yeah, absolutely. And I think because of the conversations you're having, there's always something to say. There's always something that's current to be talking about. Do you mind if we just go back on? You talked about having IVF. There will be people that are listening that are going through that themselves. How did you manage that on with your work? Was that, because that would have been quite a stressful time?
And if anyone's going through it, my heart goes out for you. It's a very, very tough process to undertake, with lots of hopes and dreams tied up in it. And it's distracting. It's sort of quite all-consuming. And so, sometimes work is a really great thing as a vehicle to park that. But I'd had a great employer. They were really good, and my team were exceptional at, supporting, especially, in against the 2 failures. And I know people go through many more failures than that. But I guess it really what it made me, I think, is really tenacious as well. And just like failure is not an option. It is not an option here. And I think that's kind of carried on in my career. It's like, failure is not an option. So what are you going to do about it? And I was really hardcore on, stopping drinking, stopping caffeine, everything to get to what was my life's ambition. So, yeah.
So yeah, no, it does. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. And other than Johan, what else has been a great success in your life? Maybe on the work side.
On the work side, yeah. Okay. Well, I've had really great experiences. It's just like saying, yeah, okay, I can do that. I think I'd be good in that. So I was a non-exec director for a really great small outsourcer when I started. I was the chair of the DMA Contact Centre Council. That was really good.
How did you get into that? How did you get into being chair of the DMA Council?
Well, funny enough, back to Bromley days, I worked with a guy called Peter Gale, who's since left the industry, which is a real shame, because he's got loads of energy and he's wonderful. Anyway, I started working with him again, sort of 15, 16 years, and he was heavily involved in the DMA. And I'd always been a member, and I'd always deferred to them, especially when I was running outbound campaigns. So I'd really use my membership for the legal advice, that side of things. So anyway, he was his time was up on the council, and he put me in, and then somehow, somewhere, I became chair. And it was a really interesting time, because Ofcom had just changed the persistent misuse guidance, and GDPR was just coming in. So lots of regulatory changes that were absolutely affecting the contact center industry were coming into play. So it was not an easy and the Olive Cook situation had happened as well. So the fundraising challenges, that the credibility around that was being looked under a lens. So it was a really fascinating time. Yeah, it was great, and I really enjoyed that. And that kind of gave me a platform. I kind of guess everything else has come off that, really. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. And you talked about all the regulations there. And oh my goodness, there are so many regulations impacting our industry. If you're in a particular sector, dare I say financial services, you've got a whole load of other regulations. I mean, you're a consultant, so you're across lots of different sectors, doing lots of different types of roles and looking at different roles. How do you keep up to date with everything that's going on?
Yeah, it's really hard. Because you'll be working with a customer one day that Schrems 2 affects them and the impact of that, and not having a data center and resources in the US. And then the next day you'll be working with a customer that's got PCI regulatory requirements, and then just as a general quality monitoring, treating customers fairly, like the FCA stuff, which I think they're overhauling. Every time I have to just go back and make checks. I've got a base layer of understanding. I either defer to experts in GDPR. So luckily I've got Steve Sullivan, who is he does that in his sleep. So I ring him. But just, you've just got to keep your head down and keep going, right. I've got a bit of time now. Let me just look at what's happening in here and on that sense. And then every engagement will throw up something that you're like, oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so you've done a couple of name drops there, Steve Sullivan and Peter Gabriel. Who has inspired you throughout your career, or who's inspired you?
Loads of people have inspired me along the way, absolutely loads. And I think, I've named a couple there. I've got to say Anne-Marie was pretty inspirational when I went to one of the first CCMA in the British Library.
Yes.
Yeah. And she stood up on stage and I just thought, she's ace. I really like her, so from that view. And then, honestly, there's just too many to mention, Lee, but I'm constantly looking for people that have got new ideas, people that are willing to challenge me as well. I love those people. So I'm constantly being inspired and looking for inspiration.
And so I would say that you've had a really successful career because you seem very happy, which I think is important in a career. You've had an opportunity to do lots of different things that you want to do. What do you think has been really the key to your success and key to having a successful career?
I think it's loving what you do and really immersing yourself in what you do. I was no great academic. I was pretty useless in school and uni. And I thought, this structure isn't for me. And then as soon as I started working, I was like, oh my God, I love this. I absolutely love this. And I think that, loving what you do and then really feeling part of enabling change is quite important, and affecting, on a small or large scale, people's lives within their working environments. And that's the opportunity I get now. So, yeah.
No, that's good. Do you know what? I'm completely with you. If you love what you do, and I've said this before, if you love what you do, then you throw yourself into it, and the chances are you're going to be quite good at it.
I think so, yeah. And it means that, I go to sleep listening to podcasts about CX and, contact centers. And, I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to contact centers. And I'm constantly trying to learn from other people. And yeah. So you wouldn't do that if you didn't love it, I don't think. So I think that's getting into that vein. And it's a it's an incredible industry, isn't it? It's an absolutely incredible industry. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. It's one of the reasons why I took on this role, because it's incredible. And some of my team that have we were at a dinner last night, and I had a member of my team who's not been in the industry for very long at all, as in a few months, and she said, it's just such an amazing industry. It's such a friendly industry. She's been bowled over by it, and it's an industry that I feel really proud of. So no, I don't blame you. So
and there's a lot of people that are sort of like, I've been in the industry, I've been in it 23 years, but now I'm in the tech side, and I think, oh, do I really know this tech world, this contact center tech world? And I think, well, now I've done an equivalent of a PhD in it. So if a surgeon after 7 years can go off and operate on a body, I can talk to people about contact center tech. So you don't have to have been here for 20 years to know your stuff. You just have to be committed to knowing what's going on now. Yes, it helps to kind of have some tacit knowledge that informs the understanding to go forward. But if, just joining the industry, just embrace it. There's loads of opportunities within it.
And what do you think are the opportunities in the industry at the moment? Because we've talked a little bit about the career pathways. People that may come into the industry wanting that career, they might fall into the industry and get themselves a job as an advisor. And then say, actually, I like this, but it's not necessarily the job I want to do forever. I want to go into other roles. What are the opportunities?
And those opportunities are really dependent on the contact center that you're in, and what they offer. I mean, the linear route is obviously good agent to team leader, and then maybe ops manager, and that's kind of a very well trodden path that has seen some people have exceptional careers. But there's lots of other routes like quality management, data analytics. Lee, you've gone from one world into this world, and I would love to see the customer service experience beating marketing and leading those discussions and saying, this is how the customer service experience is going to be. You need to align your messaging to that, and then we'll get on just fine. Because historically, marketing have dictated a lot of that. And so I think the opportunities for customer service experience roles and being front and center of what the end customers are going to experience now is sitting more in the heart of the contact center. So it's arguably more exciting than ever. And technologies are doing a lot of that as well.
And I think I do genuinely think that marketers would be better off if they came through from the customer service sector anyway. And when I think about when products go to market, much of what is in the marketing side of things comes from product or comes from service. So it would be really helpful if products and service were also listening to the customer service, listening to the customer from within the contact center. And that's one of the things we've been advocating through some of the research that we've been doing, is that elevating the contact center so that it's not just marketing that needs to listen. This is my view. It's not just marketing that needs to be listening. It's product. Everybody in the rest of the business needs to be listening to the customer, because if you get things right for the customer, then there is, I have the view that if you get things right for the customer, then you've got a business. And if you've got a business, then you can make sure that all your people are happy. So it's almost this wheel, as opposed to make people happy and then you make happy customers, or make customers happy and you have happy people. For me, it's that continuous wheel, that continuous journey.
Yeah, and I think there is a direct correlation with the businesses that succeed around giving good experiences to customers in public or private sector, because both are valid, are those that embrace the customer service teams, understand the agent experience, spend time on the calling floors, because they know that's where their conversations are really happening. They know that's where their customers really are. You can look at data all day, every day, but all you need to do is go and sit with an agent for a couple of hours, and you will start getting a sense of how customers experience your business, and where Lee, I could go on, but the ones that don't, and obviously I've had a swathe in outsourcing of managing lots of different customers who were too arrogant to think that coming onto the contact center floor was a good idea, and those that fully embraced the agents and, you know, took them on the journey with them. And unsurprisingly, the customer experience scores were super high in that environment. Retention, I couldn't get rid of agents on Volkswagen. You know, everyone was knocking on the door to try and get into the team because as a team we did really well, and then as a brand they were exceptional at supporting those advisors.
It is fascinating. So we're almost at time. So which I can't believe where that 30 minutes has gone. But before you go, I've got some quick fire questions for you, and I wonder what you're going to answer to the first one. What's your favorite animal?
Oh, dog, Buddy.
Oh, I thought you were going to say orangutan.
Oh, do you know, I do love orangutans. Yeah, go and support Whisper. They're amazing charity.
However, I do get that.
My cockapoo, you've got a dog, Lee. Yeah, my cockapoo is my fur baby.
Yeah, and he hasn't joined us, but that's
no, he hasn't joined us. No. And who knew he's much cheaper than IVF?
Oh, love you. And so, favourite colour?
Red. I'm Welsh.
I like red too. Favourite season? What's your favourite season?
Autumn. Got married in autumn. Yeah, love autumn.
Why autumn?
I just really like it. It's on its way to Christmas. It's crisp, the sun. I love those days. Yeah, love autumn days.
Love that. Coffee or tea?
Oh, coffee.
Oh, love it.
Black.
And black. And is it no sugar?
Oh, about 5 sweeteners.
Oh, okay. And would you rather travel to the future or the past?
Oh, the past. I'm history obsessed.
Oh, really?
Well, kings and queens obsessed. Yeah, I love a castle. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Past. Get me to the past. Yeah, definitely.
So flip that round. What's the thing you're most looking forward to?
Oh, grandchildren.
I love that. 5 grandchildren. He's got his work cut out.
I'm Joe, and yeah, not for a while, but yeah.
I was going to say.
Yeah, but that is.
Love that. I wasn't expecting that. I love that. Do you know what, Nerys? It has been so fabulous talking to you today. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit about yourself and also all your career. And hey, good luck with all of the campaigning with supporting Irina and the Ukrainian Contact Center Association. I'll look out for more posts on LinkedIn and continue to support and help as you know, where we can.
Yeah, thank you for your support, and thank you for inviting me. It's been a lovely spending my time chatting to you.
Thank you so much. You take care. We'll see you soon.
Cheers. Bye.